Hello, are you able to hear me, Jennifer? Perfect. First of all, I would like to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to attend this presentation today. So the presentation today, oh, is about power of PowerPoint. I'll begin with my introduction. My name is Sneha. I'm also addressed as Miss Sunshine because I know people around who have hard times saying my name, and I'll talk a little bit about how I got my name Miss Sunshine later. I'm currently working at College of the Rockies. I work in the chemistry department there. This college is located in British Columbia, a small town, Cranbrook. Yes, uh, talking about power of PowerPoint, it is basically how is it an effective tool using PowerPoint as a learning tool in adult learning platform. So this is simply the official logo of Microsoft PowerPoint. First and foremost, I would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which I reside is the traditional unceded territory of Tunaha and Kinbasket people. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to work in the territory. It is a beautiful place surrounded by rocky mountains, very peaceful and close to Mother Nature. So this is a poster I created for summer camp. So this summer, the college organized a summer camp, and I got the opportunity to lead this mad scientist camp there. And for welcoming in the students and just for fun, I created this art on the whiteboard. It was super fun, and I would say this summer camp was the place where I got my name Miss Sunshine from. So students were having hard time saying my name, so I just asked them, okay, address me as Miss Sunshine. Yeah, it was a great opportunity and it was fun being with kids. So I would like to start with a very basic and ground level example of incorporating PowerPoint as a learning tool. And I would appreciate your participation in this. So here we see a visual image of pH scale. pH is a measure of how acidic or basic a product is. The range goes from 0 to 14, with 7 being neutral. pH of less than 7 indicates the acidic character, and pH of 7 or greater, pH greater than 7 says the product is basic or alkaline in nature. So the coffee we drink, we can clearly see on the image here that the coffee we drink has a pH of 5, which means it is a little acidic in nature. And the soap which we use in household has a basic characteristic. So how amazing it is that the common household products we are surrounded by in our day-to-day life have characteristics which are acidic or basic in nature. So you must be surprised, like, why is she talking about acid-base chemistry right now when we are talking about power of PowerPoint? So eventually you will know why I have incorporated these slides here. So there's another powerful and a strong visual elaborating, like if you can clearly see on the left-hand side are the acids and on the right-hand sides are the bases. And all these are common household products. Like vinegar we use in the kitchen, lemon juice, soda have acidic characteristics, and baking soda, ammonia, borax we use for cleaning and everything, they have basic characteristics. So I would like you to participate in this game now. It's a chemistry Jeopardy. And yeah, are we ready? Here we go.
Yes, but I gotta remember my high school chemistry.
You don't have to, don't worry. So it'll be easy, very basic level. So
Okay.
now I'll begin with a $10 question for acids.
Okay.
So you saw the picture. Where do
Mhm.
acids lie on the pH scale?
They on the left-hand side.
Yeah. So do you
So
think
the lower end, below 7.
beautiful? So zero between 0 and 7 will be
0
acidic.
and 7, yes.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Yay, you win. We'll have another question now. It'll be a $10 question for basis. Let's see if you can answer it.
Mhm. So
So,
your bases are 8 through 14, I
yes.
believe it was.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, on the right-hand side of the scale. 7 and 14. Okay.
Perfect. So, you know it. You know your high school chemistry, I guess.
No, it was your visual.
Perfect. Okay, so the image you see on the screen here, this is the usual level of excitement and involvement, engagement I see among my learners. So these happy faces, what I did is I just incorporated a strong teaching strategy, which is game-based learning strategy, using PowerPoint as a presentation tool. So when I incorporated these two strong elements, it brought in excitement, engagement, involvement, and motivation among my learners. Even I saw a smile on your face as well. So this is not limited just to Jeopardy, but games like trivia games, matching, true false, flashcards, memory games, all those, we can incorporate all these learning, game-based learning strategies using PowerPoint. So if I evaluate PowerPoint in terms of the excitement level it brings in the classroom, I gave it a B plus. So, incorporating game based learning using PowerPoint can definitely bring fun and excitement among learners, as you saw, and it breaks the monotony of a boring classroom. So, I would like to give it a B plus, but why have I not given it an A? Is the because here this presentation tool is as good as the creator or the presenter. So it is all on in my hands that if I am the creator and the presenter of the lecture, of the information I'm trying to convey, so it's all in my hands. So itself, PowerPoint would not bring in excitement or motivation or engagement in my learners, but it's in my hands. So that's why I gave it a B plus rather than giving it an A. So when it comes to engagement, I believe the visuals, like the strong visual you saw, the strong image of pH scale you saw in the beginning, that gives it an A, plus the excitement and the motivation it brings in the classroom. And what happens is when it comes to engagement, I believe it comes when all my students are attentive and I get their focused attention to what I'm trying to teach. So that's why I gave it an A. So what PowerPoint does it is enables presenter to engage through the interactive elements, like I incorporated quizzes, polls, hyperlinks. These features encourage participation, interactivity, making learning experience more dynamic and memorable. Additionally, as I mentioned, visual appeal boosts the presentation as well. And here we go. So Jess Wilkinson, in her article, the article's name was Power of PowerPoint. She mentioned that PowerPoint seems to have some real virtues for explaining tasks, representing visuals, and anchoring the concepts. So if a facilitator combines, like if they are trying to deliver a concept and they're using PowerPoint as a tool along with active learning strategies, PowerPoint will be very effective in doing that. So now I will consider Knowles' principles of adult learning or andragogy. Like they talk about that we have to make sure that adults are involved in the planning and evaluation of the learning process. It also mentions that when it comes to adult learners, the experience they bring in with them provides the basis for learning activities. Adults are most interested in learning subjects that have immediate relevance and impact to the job or personal life. And it should be learner focused. So if I am teaching and like it should not be presenter focused. With PowerPoint presentations, sometimes what happens is it is so presenter focused that we get distracted, that we have to make sure that the learner is participating in it as well. So focus of adult learning is to bring in strategies which are innovating teaching strategies, student engagement, how we can engage the students in the learning process, and active learning strategies. So I researched about PowerPoint as a learning tool, and there were so many controversial opinions about it. I did some research on it. Went through some instructional, would say, articles. So here is one of the articles, one of the studies which was done. Along with my Zoom session video, I will also be sending the PowerPoint presentation which I created. And this right now here is a hyperlink. So if you just control and enter it, you will be able to have access to that article. So the present study aimed to describe the effectiveness of PowerPoint-based flipped learning model in increasing student understanding. So the recent study is an experimental study of 115 participants. So one classroom was PBFL, which was PowerPoint-based flipped learning model, and the other was a conventional model. So here also what they did is they used the active teaching strategy, which is flipped learning, and then they used PowerPoint as a tool. So what I'm trying to convey here is it is as good as the presenter or the creator. So the results of this study showed that integrating PowerPoint and flipped learning models significantly increased students' understanding of the material being taught compared to the other classes. All in all, integrating PowerPoint is shown to help strengthen the flipped learning process to improve student understanding of whatever we are trying to teach. So it was a thumbs up. This study said that PowerPoint is a strong tool to be used as a learning tool in adult learning. So there was another study, same here. I've provided a hyperlink if you are interested. So in this study, what they did is the teaching strategy they used was just-in-time teaching. And then the platform they used was PowerPoint. So this instructional article is about an innovative teaching approach, enhancing student engagement and active learning in higher education. They use just-in-time teaching and PowerPoint technology. So are you able to see the screen here? Yeah, I zoomed it. So what they did is they divided the lecture into three sessions. So it was pre-lecture activities, during the lecture activities, and post-lecture activities. I will focus here on the pre-lecture activities. So the central Thomas Warner in 2015 did this research and published the article. So the central component was of the approach was students pre-lecture preparation of a short PowerPoint presentation. So students were asked to prepare a PowerPoint presentation on the knowledge or the concept they know about, like what do they know about the lecture topic. Also, the central idea of the study was giving students more power, so to be involved to shape the content and the interactivity of university lectures. So JIT, which is just in time teaching strategy, what they do in this, the key feature of this strategy is that students read and consider new ideas before coming to the class. As a result, when they come to the class, they're well prepared for the lecture session. And their motivation level is high because they have a basic clarity of the concept, but when they come to the class, what instructor is doing is they are facilitating the learning on the basis of what they already know. So they are filling in the gaps through different discussions, forums, and they assess this, do the student assessment and everything. So this is what they did in this study. So they actually used so they used a adult learning principle, which says that when it comes to adult learning, we have to build upon the prior knowledge adults have. There we go. When we move to the next slide. So the survey with 54 responses from 94 students revealed that there was an overall high satisfaction rate with just-in-time activity and formative assessment of pre-lecture PowerPoint presentation, which means when the students were asked to create this PowerPoint slide pre-presentation before the lecture, so they were more satisfied. Their satisfaction level was high. Majority of the students strongly agreed that pre-lecture PowerPoint presentation was helpful for their understanding of the lecture content. So the other thing is, what they did is they only used PowerPoint as a tool to be used for just-in-time activity. So what students in their survey also mentioned that they were very comfortable and familiar with this tool. Most of the educators and students, they are so familiar with using PowerPoint as a tool. They are aware of what its features are. It's easy to use. Every device would have a PowerPoint. So that's why it's a plus plus for PowerPoint, because every user is very familiar and comfortable when they're using it. Here we go. Now, when it comes to using it as a tool to educate, I gave it a B. And I'll try to explain why I gave it a B. Same, I will phrase the same line. PowerPoint is as good as the creator or the presenter. It would not itself educate anybody. So that's why I gave it a B. So what PowerPoint does is, if it's used the right way, it will convert a normal classroom into an interactive classroom, as we did with the Jeopardy game or the strong visuals we used. It helps makes lessons more interactive through different types of fun activities like quizzes and educational games. I usually do laboratory instruction. I give instructions in the laboratory, chemistry lab itself. So there what we do is we follow steps and we follow procedures. So when it comes to following steps and procedures, what I do is I simply use each slide to display each step in the procedure. So now it helps in facilitation and better understanding of the procedure and the technique. So for example, if I'm demonstrating the skill to my learners that you have to pour 15 mils of sodium hydroxide drop by drop into the titration flask while you're stirring the titration flask. I'm not sure if you're familiar with these terminologies, but this is a step in the procedure. Now, my job is when I'm demonstrating it, that the learners are focusing on the demonstrations I'm demonstrating. I don't want to make them to take notes. Maybe they have started taking notes, okay, 15 mils, drop by drop. I want their focus on what I am demonstrating. So when I have on the projector, step number 1, follow this, they are not taking notes, and I have a right procedure on the display. So what will happen is they will retain it better because they are actually looking in like live presentation, which I am doing. And the other part is their focus will be on performing or the demonstration of the technique. I believe this way what happens is, number one, I save time, and number two, they minimize the mistakes because they have a set procedure on the display. Step number 1, slide 1. Step number 2, slide 2. That way. So that's why for education, like how well it can educate the learners, I gave it a B. And also I would like to mention here is that it can be used when it comes to students reviewing or preparing for their exams. This is a good tool because they can simply open the PowerPoint presentation and they can have access to it and then they can use it. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, so this was the last instructional article which I read, the study or the research which was done, and it had very controversial opinions when it came to PowerPoint. So a study was conducted to examine the impact of PowerPoint on the student performance, course evaluation, and student preference. And it was done in 3 different institutions, and the subject was economics. It was conducted by Lisa Daniels, John Kane, and Brian Rosario across 3 different institutions. So when they studied the impact of PowerPoint on student performance, the results were a no-no, and the results were student grades did not improve. And then this study was done back in 2007. So maybe Microsoft PowerPoint did not had that many features at that time. It could be the reason. And when it came to student attendance, they gave a very strong point of view that students were missing their classes because they were hoping their instructors to send them the PDF copy of the PowerPoint. So they don't have to come physically into the class, they can simply get the notes from PowerPoint. So their attendance dropped down. And the third thing they evaluated was I'm sorry, yeah. So the third thing they evaluated was the impact on course evaluation. So the effect of PowerPoint on course evaluation had mixed results. So as I mentioned in the beginning, there were three institutions, and out of those three, two institutions said that there was a positive and a significant increase in the evaluation of instructor preparation. So students felt that the instructors were prepared, well prepared with the PowerPoint slides, and their presentation's ability was better. So in a way, when they were evaluating the course, they said, okay, instructors with PowerPoint presentations had better preparation. So this was a good sign. And last, when it came, it was a qualitative, like not in terms of quantity, but qualitatively, they wanted to know if students prefer the use of PowerPoint in the classroom. And it was a yes, where 76% in college A, 81% in college B, and 59% in college C said that we prefer a classroom with PowerPoint presentation. But overall, when the study they concluded the results, they were like a sad. That's why I added a sad face on the presentation here. That they said, okay, students preferred it, but their grades are not improving. This is simply what they said. So they were focusing on the quantitative aspects, which is the grades, but qualitatively, students were preferring having it in the class. Okay, let's move. So when it comes to evaluation, like if I want to evaluate that where is my learner standing, like I have a 2 hour lecture, and then after 45 minutes I want to know that if they are understanding the concept or not. I will simply incorporate a quiz or a poll or a group discussion using PowerPoint as a tool. Now this is my choice that I'm using it as a tool. Otherwise, PowerPoint is not playing any role in the evaluation of student understanding. That's why I gave it a C. So it is all upon me if I want to use it as a tool. So I will, for formative assessment, I can use it. Or if I want to know if the students are understanding the concept, I will incorporate PowerPoint. So that's why I gave it a C when it comes to evaluation. Also, when it comes to reliability and validity of this tool, in evaluation or assessment, it might be questioned. So that's why I'm not that strong of an believer that I can use it for evaluation. That's why I give it a C. Perfect. So on the report card here with a 4E framework, excitement is B plus, engagement is A, how well it can educate, B, and evaluation is C. Again, I would say it's all in hands of the presenter or the creator. Here, I would also like to mention that there was a, I believe, yeah, I have mentioned the link to it. Spencer, in chapter 5 of instructional message design with PowerPoint. So he conducted this study and he said it also the role of subject matter is important here as well. So when it comes to subjects like science, technology, engineering, like STEM background, where the concept is complex, model based information is needed, power visuals or demographics or demonstrations like laboratory demonstrations, PowerPoint plays a very vital role, and students or instructors use it very well. But if you change the subject content like humanities, using it for humanities or using it for other subjects which are more theory based, like which have abstract idea, tangible phenomenon, philosophy seminars, so students might not prefer using, or educators might not prefer using, because it becomes very text, full of text and information. So it is also based upon the subject matter. Here we go. Let's talk about the accessibility feature of PowerPoint. I would start by saying that PowerPoint is the one that can be an accessible PowerPoint presentation is the one that can be followed and understood by any student. So it's simple to understand, simple to use, both for instructors and students. So it provides the option of screen readers where these read aloud the information and on the computer screen, such as written text or description of an image provided through alternative text. So when I'll send you my presentation in the PDF format, if you click on any of the images, you will get an alternative text on the side, which will describe the image. That's screen reader. And then screen enhancement software. This allows user to magnify the computer screen or change the contrast to make the content easier to read. Captioning and transcripts can be embedded with audio or visual in PowerPoint as well. So this is also an accessibility feature of PowerPoint. Now, the trouble comes when it comes to Mac users. So I believe it's version 8 and before of Mac users, which has serious issues, like serious accessibility issues. For example, you cannot assign alt text to images or export the presentation as an accessible PDF file if you have a Mac version 2008 or below. But I've added a pro tip here that if you're an instructor or you are going to train somebody and you want to send them a PowerPoint presentation, the best thing would be to save it as a PDF copy and then share it via email or any course website. Directly just sharing the PowerPoint presentation as a document might create trouble, but if you send it as a PDF copy, it is very accessible. So this is a pro tip. Further, let's talk about, so it's a thumbs up from my side that PowerPoint is highly accessible tool to be used as a learning tool. So for conclusion, I would talk about three people or three, I should say, bodies here. One is instructional designers, the second is instructors, and the third is learners. So learning revolves around these three people. In most cases, instructors are the instructional designers. So it is on us as instructors that it is our job to make sure that we create appealing display is conducive to learning, and then deliver the presentation very engagingly. And then it's learners' job to actively participate in the learning process. Then only it could be any platform, any learning tool, whether it be PowerPoint, Google Slides, Kahoot, or any social media or a YouTube video, we are sharing it with them. It is only as effective as all three of these people are participating actively in it. So what happens when we incorporate technology? It enhances flexibility in the delivery, it enhances learning, there's more interaction, and it I believe it is a student centered approach if used appropriately. Here we go. So here are the few resources I've added. Even the Jeopardy game, which I created using PowerPoint, I just watched a 3.5 minute video and then I created that. There is a link to that as well. Here we go. Thank you so much for watching, Jennifer. Thank you for being a patient listener. Here's time for some questions.
Thank you. I really enjoyed your presentation. I guess, was there anything that through this presentation or through this exercise that you learned about PowerPoint that you didn't know before? Like anything that came away with that you're like, oh, I didn't know it could do that, or that you didn't know beforehand?
I believe creating this Jeopardy was super fun.
Yeah.
I created those links and used master slide, and it was not a tedious process. It was just a 3.5 minute video, and I was done with creating that small game-based learning section in 15 to 20 minutes. So I always used it to incorporate pictures and audio and video. And during this session, I realized, okay, I can use it this way as well. And there are a lot more videos available online on YouTube if you want to make the best use of PowerPoint as a tool. I believe
Mhm,
it's easy to use, and then it's
mhm,
convenient. Yeah, that's why this is what I discovered.
mhm,
Mhm.
mhm. Okay. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, I agree. I think it's pretty accessible, and I think that more people have probably had their hand with in PowerPoint. But I don't know how many people like dive into all of that it can do. Like it's just, like it's there's so much features in PowerPoint, for sure. What about maybe some of the limitations um, in teaching and using it as a teaching tool? Like you talked a bit about, like obviously learners have to be engaged. What do you think, if anything, that there's any sort of limitations that PowerPoint can be in the classroom?
When I was preparing for this presentation, because I used PowerPoint as a tool to create this presentation, so I was having a hard time. Like I went through those 12 principles, Mayer's principles
Hmm.
of multimedia. So they were saying, do not read through the slide. Do not
Yeah,
do read through the slide. Do not add
yeah,
too many words on the screen. But somehow,
yeah.
just because I read about it, I was aware of it, but by a human nature, I was just trying to
Mm,
add information. So it becomes so wordy and a lot of, I would say it, yeah, very wordy. And then overload of information. Like this is
cognitive
another
overload.
limitation. I was trying to make
Yeah,
it as simple. It took a lot of hard work to make it that simple. Yeah, to be very honest.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a really great answer because I think that is the limitation is that you want to fill it.
Yes.
So actively pulling back,
Yeah.
right, is a tough thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was great. I learned some new things that I didn't know before, and yeah, got some interesting research. Appreciated it.
Yeah, thank you. And I believe you were a very patient listener, very, yeah, present in what I was teaching, and that helps as well. It's a two-way process. And yeah, thank you so much for being a patient listener. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Good luck with the rest of your course.
Thank you, Jennifer. It was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
Take
Take
care.
care.
Bye.
Bye.